All right, I need to be entirely forthright with you at this moment. When High Commander Vilax assigned me reconnaissance duty on Earth, I believed I had finally achieved my goal. I mean, observing an unsophisticated species that had barely deciphered nuclear fusion, that felt like an effortless assignment, a clear path to early retirement. I was profoundly mistaken. So cataclysmically, monumentally, and universe-shatteringly wrong that I still awaken screaming during my sleep cycle. But I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Kelvor, a junior intelligence officer of the 9th Expeditionary Fleet, and I witnessed something on that remote planet that defied every tactical guide, every strategic database, and every single assumption we held about the beings they call humans. The incident transpired precisely at 1400 hours local time, at what humans refer to as Lincoln High School, situated in a locale named Sacramento, California. We had been monitoring this specific educational institution for 3 rotations, adhering to standard protocol. Our scanners indicated minimal threat levels. These beings spent most of their formative years confined to rectangular chambers, absorbing data at a tempo that would shame a Khmer mouse Grundlach. They consumed peculiar chemical compounds they called energy drinks, and lamented about a phenomenon named homework, with the ferocity of soldiers facing imminent annihilation. Adorable, truly. We almost felt a flicker of remorse about the impending invasion. Almost. The invasion fleet had meticulously planned this operation for cycles. 17,000 warships, 400,000 ground troops, enough firepower to cleave a moon in 2. And our initial strike? A classroom. Indeed, you heard me correctly. A singular classroom containing 32 human juveniles and 1 adult supervisor. Why commence there, you might inquire? Our tactical computers determined that projecting overwhelming force against their most vulnerable demographic would instantly shatter their morale. Psychological warfare at its pinnacle. Demonstrate our capacity to strike anywhere, even at their cherished offspring, and they would capitulate within hours. A brilliant strategy, genuinely. What could possibly go awry? The designated strike team was Zeta Squadron, an elite contingent led by Captain Drumnack. 12 of our most formidable warriors, each standing 2.13 meters tall, equipped with plasma rifles capable of vaporizing concrete, clad in armor resistant to direct missile impacts. They had conquered 14 planets. 14. Their success rate was immaculate. They materialized in the classroom at precisely 1400 hours. I was observing everything from the command ship in high orbit, viewing events through Draven's helmet camera. The initial entry was textbook perfect. The transport beam deposited them in a standard tactical configuration, weapons raised, prepared to instill pure terror into these primitive beings. And truly, the humans were caught off guard. The juveniles emitted high-pitched sounds that our translators identified as screams. The adult supervisor, a male they dubbed Mr. Patterson, dropped the electronic tablet he held. It shattered on the floor with a satisfying report. Several of the smaller humans dived beneath their desks. Others became utterly motionless, their rudimentary nervous systems apparently overcome by the circumstances. Perfection. Everything unfolded as planned. "Attention, inferior life forms," Drumnack proclaimed through his helmet's vocal amplifier. His voice resonated through the confined space, causing the windows to tremble. "You are now subjects of the Krelven Empire. Resistance is futile. Surrender is your only option. We are inevitable. We are unstoppable. We are..." "Dude, are those aliens?" The voice originated from the rear of the room. A young female, utterly unimpressed. Drumnack's helmet camera swiveled towards the source. There, still seated at her desk amidst the unfolding pandemonium, sat a human female juvenile. Our database identified her as Maya Torres, age 16, with a grade point average of 3.7, and a member of something called a track team. She appeared annoyed, not terrified, not shocked. Annoyed, as if we had interrupted something significant. "Yes, we are extraterrestrial beings," Drumnack responded, visibly deviating from his script. "We have arrived to subjugate your pathetic planet. You should be quivering in fear." Maya Torres rolled her eyes. She actually rotated her optical organs in a gesture our cultural database classified as dismissive contempt. "Bruh, I have a calculus test next period. Can you guys, conquer Earth after 3:15? Thanks." A profound silence descended. 12 elite warriors, armed to the teeth, stared at a juvenile who had just requested they reschedule an invasion. One of Drumnack's subordinates, a trooper named Kelvix, emitted nervous laughter that crackled through his comm unit. "Captain, should we vaporize her first? You know, as an example." "No," Drumnack snapped. "We require at least some survivors to disseminate news of our might. Besides, High Command desires footage of them begging for mercy." He turned back to Maya, who had somehow produced a small rectangular device and was now manipulating it with her thumbs. "Put down that communication device. You are in no position—" "I am literally just texting my mom that I might be late to dinner. Chill out." "Chill out?" She instructed an invasion force to chill out. From my vantage point in orbit, I could sense the confusion rippling through Zeta Squadron. This was not the prescribed course of conquest. Where was the pleading, the weeping, the desperate pleas for mercy? Mr. Patterson, a testament to his survival instincts, had raised his hands in surrender. Most of the other juveniles remained concealed or immobilized. But Maya Torres continued sitting there, her thumbs gliding across her device's screen, occasionally glancing up at the heavily armed soldiers as if they were mildly intriguing insects. "You fail to grasp the gravity of this situation." Drumnack's voice had acquired a slightly desperate undertone. "We possess weaponry capable of annihilating your entire species. We wield technology beyond your comprehension. We have—" "Dude, you are literally glowing purple and wearing what looks like a rejected Halo costume." "I get it. You're scary aliens. Very intimidating." "Can I finish my text now?" Something within Drumnack snapped. I could discern it in his bio readings, his stress indicator surging into the red zone. Here he was, a veteran of 14 planetary conquests, being treated as an inconvenience by a juvenile more preoccupied with her after-school engagements than his plasma rifle. "Enough!" "Kelvix! Thornack! Secure that insolent creature! We will make an example of her defiance." Two troopers advanced toward Maya's position, weapons raised, but set to stun. We desired prisoners, after all, living illustrations of our clemency and their defeat. Maya finally looked up from her device. She sighed, the kind of deep, beleaguered sigh that teenagers across the universe apparently shared. Fine. You guys want to do this right now? Seriously?" She rose. And this is where everything went catastrophically wrong. Let me be unequivocally clear about something. We had conducted extensive studies of humans. We were aware of their fragility. Their bones fractured readily, their skin tore like dampened parchment. They required perpetual sustenance and rest. They were, by every metric we possessed, a prey species that had stumbled into sentience through a cosmic fluke. Our armor could withstand temperatures that would vaporize steel. Our shields could deflect energy weapons. Our genetic modifications rendered us faster, stronger, more durable than baseline biology had any right to be. We were predators, apex predators, conquerors of worlds. Maya was 1.68 meters tall, weighed approximately 59 kilograms, and brandished a pen. Just a pen, the kind they used to write on processed tree pulp, blue ink, plastic barrel, a small clip on the side, worth perhaps 1/10 of 1 credit in galactic currency. "All right," she declared, clicking the pen's cap with her thumb. The sound echoed in the suddenly silent classroom. "Let's get this over with. I really cannot miss that calculus test." Kelvix laughed. He actually laughed. "The creature thinks she can combat us with a primitive writing implement. This will be amusing." He reached for her. What transpired next took precisely 4.7 seconds. I know this because I have reviewed the footage approximately 700,000 times. Frame by frame, slow motion, enhanced, analyzed by every tactical computer in the fleet. 4.7 seconds, Maya Torres moved. Not rapidly by human standards, our sensors clocked her movement speed well within normal parameters for her species. Nothing superhuman, nothing enhanced. Just a teenage girl with a pen. But the efficiency, the precision, the sheer casual brutality of it all. She stepped inside Kelvix's reach, ducking beneath his grasping hand. The pen flashed once, twice, 2 strikes to his throat, directly through a gap in his armor. He gurgled, stumbled backward, both hands clutched to his neck. Thornak attempted to bring his rifle to bear. Maya pivoted, utilizing Kelvix's body as a shield. The pen came up, over, down, directly through Thornak's optical visor. He screamed, dropping his weapon. 3 seconds had elapsed. "Contact! Contact!" Drumnak was yelling now. "Full suppression! Weapons free!" The remaining 10 warriors opened fire. Plasma bolts illuminated the classroom, scorching walls, obliterating furniture, igniting small fires everywhere. The other humans were screaming, diving for cover. Mr. Patterson had crawled under his desk, his hands covering his head. Maya Torres danced through the fire as though it were mere rain. She moved between desks, employing cover, utilizing angles. The pen never ceased its motion. Each time she neared one of our soldiers, it located a gap, discovered a weakness. The armor that could deflect missile strikes apparently could not withstand a determined teenager armed with a 20-cent writing implement. Virax collapsed with the pen embedded in his neck. Seals Gvore received it through the aperture between his helmet and chest plate. DNA screamed as it found the delicate joint behind his knee. Then again as it pierced his visor on the follow-up. 4.2 seconds now. Drumnak was retreating, firing wildly. "Retreat! Retreat! Emergency extraction!" But Maya stood between him and the extraction point. She looked at him, their gazes locking through his helmet's visor. She smiled, not a pleasant smile. A predatory grin, not one of warmth, graced her lips, fixing on what she thought was a hunter, now revealed as prey. She advanced, not rushing, but with an unhurried, purposeful stride. The pen still bled purple onto the floor. "You know what?" she stated, her voice unnervingly calm. "I've had a change of heart. You're actually welcome to stay. I'll just take the test tomorrow." Drock unleashed a plasma bolt at point-blank range, hitting her square in the chest. It jolted her back 2 steps, her shirt igniting. With a casual pat, she extinguished the flames, gazing at the charred fabric. "Oh, seriously? This is my favorite shirt." Her eyes lifted, the smile replaced by a fierce glare. "Now I'm genuinely irked." Within 4.6 seconds, Maya Torres closed the distance to Captain Droke's knack, moving with a fluid precision that outstripped our sensors. Not through superhuman speed, but through impeccable efficiency, each movement purposeful, devoid of hesitation. The pen found its mark beneath his helmet's rim. Drumnak's vital signs flatlined instantly. In 4.7 seconds, a lone human teenager, armed with a mere pen, had felled 12 elite warriors, veterans of 14 planetary conquests, equipped with the finest weaponry the Krellin Empire could offer. Maya stood amidst the classroom, surrounded by 12 armored bodies. Small fires crackled, smoke curling into the air. She examined the pen, its plastic casing fractured, the clip broken, blue ink mingling with purple blood. "Oh, great," she sighed, genuine disappointment in her tone. "I needed this for the test." Then, her gaze directly met Dreywax's helmet camera, effectively staring straight at me in my observation pod. She aimed the shattered pen at the lens. "Tell your buddies," she declared, her voice flat and cold, "that Earth is off limits today. Come back, well, never." I sat in my observation pod, hands trembling on the controls, fixated on the screen. "Sir," my supervisor's voice crackled through the comms. "What just transpired down there? We've lost Zeta Squadron's biosigns, all of them. What's the situation?" I found myself unable to respond, words failing me. I could only watch Maya Torres as she returned to her desk, retrieved her backpack, and began to exit. She paused, glancing back at Mr. Patterson, still cowering beneath his desk. "Mr. P," she advised, "you might want to call the principal. And maybe animal control. Do we have alien control? Is that a thing?" Then she left, walking out as if she hadn't just single-handedly repelled an invasion force. Through the window, I saw her pull out her comm device again, fingers flying, likely texting her mother. My supervisor's voice was back, more insistent. "Kael'vor, report. What happened?" Finally, I found my voice. "Sir, I advise an immediate withdrawal of all forces from Earth. All forces, right now." "What?" he retorted. "On whose authority? What could possibly—" "The human juvenile," I interrupted, "just obliterated Zeta Squadron in under 5 seconds using a writing implement." Silence hung on the line. "Say that again?" "She killed them with a pen." "Sir, a pen, in 5 seconds, while casually discussing her academic schedule." More silence. Then, "I'm alerting High Command. Do not move from that position. They'll want to review all footage." The line went dead. I remained, witnessing human emergency services converge on the school, securing the area, meticulously examining the fallen warriors. And somewhere within that building, Maya Torres was probably in another classroom, borrowing a pen, taking her calculus test. It dawned on me then, a truth that should have been evident from the start. We weren't studying a prey species at all. We were observing apex predators, so secure at the peak of their food chain that they had forgotten their true nature, until someone reminded them. High Commander Verlax himself appeared on my screen 30 minutes later, his face etched with a pale, Arctic hue. "Show me everything," he commanded. So I did. When the footage concluded, he sat in complete silence for a full minute. "That was one juvenile?" he finally asked. "Yes, sir." "Armed with only a writing implement?" "Yes, sir." "And she was annoyed about missing a test?" "Calculus, sir." "Yes." Another long pause. "Kael'vor, prepare a full withdrawal of all invasion forces. Send a diplomatic envoy immediately. And someone find out what this calculus is, because apparently missing it makes them extremely dangerous." "Sir, are we surrendering to the humans?" Verak looked at me as if I'd grown a second head. "Surrendering? No. We are strategically repositioning ourselves to a location far away from the species that treats our best warriors like a minor inconvenience before lunch. There is a difference." The fleet began its withdrawal within the hour, but my shift wasn't over. I had to continue monitoring the situation. had to watch as human authorities swarmed the school, had to listen as their leaders grappled to understand what had transpired. And I had to observe Maya Torres. She finished her test precisely on time, apparently at 3:15. She walked out of the school, backpack slung over one shoulder, conversing with a friend. So yeah, aliens showed up during English. Totally ruined the discussion on Hamlet. Had to borrow a pen for calc. Think I aced it, though. Her friend stared at her. Wait, what about the alien? Maya shrugged. Handled it. Do you want to get burritos? I mean, yeah, obviously, but seriously, what happened with the burritos first? Alien invasion talk later. I'm starving. They walked off together, debating food options, and I remained in my observation pod, watching the most terrifying creature I had ever encountered choose between chicken and beef. Here's the untold truth about catastrophic military failures. The paperwork is interminable. I had been completing incident reports for 6 straight hours when High Commander Verlac summoned me to the strategy chamber. My tendrils ached, my optical organs burned, and I still had roughly 9,000 forms to fill, detailing how 12 elite soldiers were neutralized by a teenager with office supplies. The strategy chamber was packed. Every senior officer in the fleet was squeezed into the space, all fixated on the colossal holographic display at the center. The footage replayed on a loop. Maya Torres, the pen, 4.7 seconds. Over and over. Verlax appeared to have aged 10 cycles in a mere few hours. Kael'vor, front and center. I navigated through the throng of officers, receiving looks that ranged from pity to outright horror. When you're the one who witnessed the worst military disaster in recent history, you don't collect many friends. Sir, I addressed him, standing at attention, careful not to glance at the screen where Maya was currently eliminating Thornak for the 700th time. I need you to clarify something for me. Verlac stated slowly. Our tactical computers have analyzed this footage from every angle. Force distribution, momentum calculations, strike precision. And do you know what they concluded? No, sir. Nothing special. According to every metric we possess, this juvenile performed within normal parameters for her species. Slightly above average reflexes, standard human strength, no genetic modifications, no cybernetic enhancements. She is just a regular human teenager. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper. So explain to me how a regular human teenager just ended an invasion. I swallowed hard. Sir, I believe we fundamentally misunderstood what humans are. Elaborate. We categorized them as a prey species, soft-bodied, vulnerable, weak. But sir, they are not prey. They are persistence predators who evolved by quite literally chasing animals until those animals died of exhaustion. They are so adept at violence that they had to invent thousands of rules and social structures just to prevent themselves from constantly killing each other. And when those structures falter, they unleash wars that engulf entire continents. Admiral Kix, a grim veteran of 30 campaigns, made a dismissive gesture. Bah! We have studied their combat footage. We have seen their wars. Primitive projectile weapons, chemical explosives. Nothing that could threaten our force. Permission to speak freely, sir? Verlax nodded. That juvenile didn't employ combat training. She used a pen. A pen! And she did not hesitate, did not panic, simply resolved the problem at hand with whatever tool was available. Now, imagine if she had actually been trying. Imagine if she had their weapons, their training. Imagine facing an entire army of humans like her. The room fell into profound silence. Show them the rest, Verlax said quietly. I blinked. Sir, the footage you've been monitoring for the last 6 hours, Show them what happened after the withdrawal. Oh no. I uploaded my observation feeds to the main display. Multiple camera angles, surveillance drones, everything I'd been watching while completing paperwork. This is Lincoln High School, 2 hours after the incident, I narrated, realizing I was now delivering a presentation. The human authorities arrived within minutes. Police, military, federal agents. They secured the area and began investigating. The footage depicted humans in various uniforms swarming the building, moving with practiced efficiency, clearing rooms, establishing perimeters, documenting everything. They retrieved our soldiers' bodies, all 12 of them, took them to a secure facility for analysis. On screen, humans in hazmat suits carefully loaded Drox's armored corpse onto a transport vehicle. They handled it with respect, almost reverence, as if they understood its significance. And then, I continued, approximately 4 hours after the incident, this happened. The feed switched to a different location. A military base, according to the translation. Edwards Air Force Base, California. A formation of uniformed humans stood at attention as a commanding officer addressed them. "Listen up, people!" the officer barked. "As of 1400 hours today, Earth officially has a first contact situation." An initial hostile exchange occurred when an extraterrestrial strike team materialized at a civilian high school. Their apparent intent was to sow terror among the populace, paving the way for a full-scale invasion. A low hum of disbelief rippled through the assembled forces. The strike team comprised a dozen adversaries, each approximately 7 feet tall, clad in advanced body armor and armed with directed energy weapons. They had appeared, seemingly, through some form of teleportation. The officer paused, and I swear I caught a glimpse of pride in his gaze. The entire strike team was neutralized in less than 5 seconds by 16-year-old Maya Torres, who staunchly defended her classroom using a ballpoint pen. A stunned silence descended. Then, one of the soldiers tentatively raised a hand. "Sir, did you say a regular pen?" "Standard blue ink, plastic barrel, approximately 15 cents at current market value." Another soldier chimed in. "Sir, what is our operational status?" The officer's expression grew stern. "As of now, we are at DEFCON 2. Every military installation globally is on high alert. All leave is revoked. All reserve units are being called up. NASA, ISA, and every space agency on the planet are reorienting satellites and ground-based sensors. We are searching for them." He indicated the sky. "They are up there somewhere, observing us. And they just learned that even our children are formidable. Now, picture what they're contemplating about us back in their strategic war room." I paused the footage. The assembled officers gazed intently at the screen. "They mobilized their entire military," Admiral Creek stated softly. "All of it, because of one incident." "It gets worse, sir," I interjected. "How could it possibly get worse?" I brought up another feed. This is human internet traffic over the past 6 hours. Social media, as they call it. News networks, forums, every communication platform they utilize. The screen filled with text, images, video clips. Humans discussing the incident, speculating, analyzing, and strategizing. They reverse-engineered our teleportation signature from sensor readings. 3 distinct human academic institutions independently calculated our probable orbital position. Their military is already designing countermeasures against our plasma weapons based on burn patterns from the classroom. And look at this. I highlighted a specific forum thread. This is from a human website called Reddit. The question posed was, how would you defend Earth from alien invasion? There are currently 250,000 responses. Detailed comments with diagrams and contingency plans. I scrolled through the thread. This human suggests releasing modified crops that produce compounds lethal to silicon-based life. This one proposes using their nuclear arsenal to create artificial debris fields around population centers. This one has designed a biological weapon that targets specific genetic markers common in our species. They cannot possibly know our genetic markers, Christed sputtered. Sir, they extrapolated from the tissue samples left at the scene. These are civilians, amateurs, and they figured it out in 4 hours. B.R. Lax raised a hand, signaling for silence. Continue with the footage. I switched feeds again. This was from approximately 5 hours post-incident. A human news broadcast. A perfectly groomed human female sat behind a desk, speaking directly to the camera. Good evening. I am Catherine Mills, and our top story tonight, Earth is apparently not alone in the universe, and we are definitely not friendly. The broadcast cut to footage from outside Lincoln High School. Emergency vehicles, soldiers, helicopters overhead. Earlier today, an alien military force attacked a high school classroom in Sacramento, California. The attack was repelled by local student Maya Torres, age 16, who neutralized all hostile forces using improvised weapons. Mia was unavailable for comment, as she is currently taking her calculus final, and her mother says she needs to focus on her education. I had to pause the footage because several officers were making choking sounds. Her mother said what? Rolex asked faintly. That the juvenile needed to focus on her education, sir. Apparently, defending her planet from invasion was less important than her academic performance. The broadcast continued. In response to this attack, President Morrison has issued the following statement. The feed cut to an older human male, standing at a podium. My fellow Americans, and indeed all citizens of Earth, today we learned that we are not alone in the universe. We also learned that some of our neighbors are hostile. Let me be clear about something. Earth is our home. It has been our home for millions of years. We have fought each other over it. We have killed each other over it. We have nearly destroyed ourselves fighting over it. He leaned into the microphone. But it is our home. And anyone who thinks they can just show up and take it from us has severely misjudged who we are and what we are capable of. To the species watching this from orbit, you saw what one of our children did with a pen. Imagine what our soldiers can do with actual weapons. You have one chance to leave peacefully. Take it. The broadcast ended. The strategy chamber erupted into chaos. Officers shouted over each other. Some demanded immediate counterattack. Others insisted on full withdrawal. A few suggested we just glass the entire planet from orbit and be done with it. Silence. Roax's voice cut through the noise like a plasma blade. Calivore, your recommendation. All eyes turned to me. The junior officer, who had somehow become the fleet's foremost expert on why humans were terrifying. Sir, we need to leave right now. Not a strategic withdrawal, a full retreat, maximum distance, and we need to establish diplomatic channels immediately. Diplomatic? They just threatened us. No, sir. They offered us a way out. That human leader, President Morrison, he gave us precisely one chance to leave peacefully. That is one more chance than Maya Torres gave Zeta Squadron. I pulled up the footage again. Maya pointing the broken pen at the camera. Tell your friends that Earth is closed today. Come back, literally never. She was not joking, sir. None of them are joking, and we need to understand something crucial about humans. They are really, really good at killing things. It is basically their primary survival skill. but they are also capable of choosing not to kill. They built entire civilizations on the concept of controlled violence, rules of engagement, laws of war, Geneva Convention. Your point? My point is that they are giving us a choice right now. Leave peacefully, or find out what happens when an entire planet of persistent predators decides you are prey. And sir, with respect, we really do not want to find out. Admiral Kree stood up. This is cowardice. We have 17,000 warships, 400,000 troops. We could bombard them from orbit, level their cities, crack their continents. Yes, sir, we could. And then what? What do you mean? I pulled up another feed. This is current human activity around their planet. In the last 6 hours, they have launched 14 satellites, improvised weapon platforms. According to our analysis, kinetic kill vehicles, crude but effective. They also have approximately 14,000 nuclear weapons in various states of readiness. Not enough to threaten the fleet directly, but enough to make any ground assault extremely costly. I switched to another image. This is their moon. Our sensors detected 3 separate human facilities activating on the surface. We did not even know those facilities existed. They have been preparing for this. Maybe not for us specifically, but they have been preparing for something. They could not have known we were coming, Kix insisted. No, sir. But they knew someone might come eventually, and they prepared anyway, because that is what humans do. They prepare for threats that might not even exist. They plan for disasters that might never happen. They build weapons they hope to never use, just in case. I pulled up one final image, a human spacecraft. Crude compared to our technology, but functional. This is one of their deep space probes, Voyager 1. They launched it 48 years ago. It is currently in interstellar space, carrying information about their planet, location, biology, culture. Do you know what else it carries? Silence. A message, a greeting in 55 languages, basically saying, "Hello, we are humans. We are friendly. We hope you are too." I looked around the room. They sent a friendly greeting into space, but they also developed 14,000 nuclear weapons. They hope for peace, but prepare for war. And we just declared war on them. Brolax stared at the display for a long moment. Show me the juvenile again, the Torres child. I pulled up the current surveillance feed. Maya was sitting in a restaurant with her friend, eating something wrapped in a tortilla, laughing, completely relaxed. That is the creature that eliminated Zeta Squadron, Vorak said quietly. She looks so harmless. That is the thing, sir. She is harmless. Unless you threaten her, then she becomes the most dangerous thing in the room. And every human has that capacity. Every single one of them. Frolax turned to his assembled officers. Immediate fleet-wide order. All ships retreat to minimum safe distance. Activate stealth systems. No aggressive actions. No provocations. Someone get me a communication line to Earth's leadership. We are going to apologize. Sir, Admiral Kix protested. Apologize? We are the Krillin Empire. We do not apologize to primitives. We do when those primitives can kill our elite soldiers with writing implements, Vorax roared. We do when facing a species that weaponizes office supplies. We do when the alternative is finding out what they can do when they are actually trying. The fleet began withdrawing. I watched on the sensors as 17,000 warships slowly, carefully backed away from Earth, like someone backing away from a sleeping predator. My comm unit beeped. A message from High Command, Central Command, the actual leadership of the entire Krevan Empire. Junior Officer Kelvor, You are directed to initiate first contact procedures with human leadership. You are now our official representative to Earth. Congratulations on your advancement. Try not to get us all annihilated. Fantastic. Just fantastic. I dedicated the subsequent 3 hours to formulating the perfect message. It was to be apologetic, yet not feeble, respectful, but not groveling. It would clarify that the entire incident was a grave misunderstanding, that we harbored no hostile intentions, and that we very much preferred not to be eradicated by adolescents armed with school supplies. The response arrived within an hour. Dear Krell Empire, thank you for your message. We appreciate your withdrawal your forces. We are willing to establish diplomatic relations under the following conditions. 1. You maintain a minimum distance of 10 million kilometers from Earth at all times. 2. Any approach to our planet must be announced 48 hours in advance. 3. You never ever approach our schools again. 4. A formal apology must be issued to Maya Torres for disrupting her education. 5. Reparations are required for damages inflicted upon Lincoln High School, Classroom B-17. Signed, Catherine Morrison, President of the United States, on behalf of the United Nations Security Council. I perused it 3 times. They insisted on an apology to the specific individual by name. Sir, I addressed Vorax. They demand we apologize directly to Maya Torres. Then do it. Apologize to her. Apologize to her entire family. Apologize to her pets. Whatever is necessary. So I composed another message, this one considerably more challenging. Dear Maya Torres, on behalf of the Krelvan Empire, I wish to convey our profound apologies for interrupting your English class and causing you to miss your academic activities. We deeply regret any inconvenience our attempted invasion may have caused. We also apologize for damaging your favorite shirt. Please accept this message as a formal acknowledgement that Earth is off limits and we will never return. Respectfully, Junior Officer Kelvor, Krellin Imperial Fleet. The reply arrived in 10 minutes. Oh, okay. Thanks for the apology, I guess. Tell your boss that if you guys actually want to be friends or whatever, you should probably bring better gifts than an invasion. Maybe some cool space rocks or alien tech. Also, my calc teacher says you guys should know that I aced that test, so your timing was really bad. Peace, : She concluded with something our translators identified as an emoji, a small yellow face expressing goodwill. I presented the message to Vorax. He stared at it. She aced the test? Yes, sir. The test she took immediately after neutralizing 12 soldiers? Yes, sir. And now she is offering us friendship if we bring gifts. That appears to be the situation, sir. Vorax sank heavily into his seat. What kind of species slays you with a pen and then offers friendship 10 minutes later? Humans, sir. They are quite perplexing. Over the subsequent days, we established formal diplomatic relations with Earth. It was awkward, exceedingly so. But the humans proved surprisingly gracious about the entire affair. Once they ceased pointing weapons at us, President Morrison even delivered a speech on the matter. Today marks a new chapter in human history. We are not alone in the universe. And while our first contact was hostile, we believe that most conflicts arise from misunderstanding rather than malice. The Krellin Empire made a mistake. They learned from it. And now we have the opportunity to build something better. A relationship based on mutual respect and mutual fear of high school students. That last remark elicited laughter from the assembled crowd. Maya Torres became somewhat of a celebrity on Earth. Talk shows, news interviews, book deals. She handled it with the same casual confidence she had exhibited during the invasion. Yeah, I mean, they were in my personal space, you know? She recounted in one interview. And they were really rude about the whole thing. Plus, they made me late for calculus. You do not make me late for calculus. The interviewer pressed her. But were you not scared? They possessed advanced weaponry, body armor. They were 7 feet tall. Maya shrugged. I grew up with 2 older brothers. You learn to handle aggressive males pretty quickly. These guys were just bigger and uglier versions of the same thing. All bulk, no actual skill. And the pen. Why use a pen? It was what I had. I mean, what else was I going to do? Ask them politely to leave? They were not exactly open to negotiation. Do you have any message for the Krellin Empire? Maya looked directly into the camera. Yeah, thanks for the apology. Sorry about your guys. Maybe next time, lead with conversation instead of threats. Just a thought. I watched that interview from my new office on the diplomatic station we had established near Earth's moon. It was a pleasant office, far superior to my observation pod, but I could not shake the feeling that we had narrowly averted something catastrophic. Because here is what I realized. Maya Torres was not exceptional. She was not enhanced. She was not a warrior. She was simply a regular human teenager who had places to be and was not going to allow anything to impede her. And Earth harbored approximately 8 billion more of them. Some were soldiers, some were scientists, some were engineers, some were artists, some were teachers. But every single one of them possessed that same capacity, that same switch that could flip from harmless to deadly in 4.7 seconds. The Krell Empire had conquered 14 planets, but we had never encountered anything like humans before. And now we never would, because we learned our lesson the easy way. Well, easy for us. Not so much for Zeta Squadron. I concluded my shift and proceeded to my quarters. Tomorrow, I had another meeting with human diplomats to discuss trade agreements and cultural exchanges. It was destined to be lengthy and tedious, replete with incomprehensible human customs. But at least no one would be attacking anyone with writing implements. Probably. I hoped. With humans, one could never truly know. And that is the tale of how the Krellin Empire attempted to invade Earth and was halted by a teenager with a pen. We recount it to every new species we encounter now. A cautionary tale. Do not meddle with humans. They are amicable if you are amicable. But if you menace them, well, you might end up like Zeta Squadron, conquered by a 16-year-old with office supplies and a calculus test to complete. And that is the most mortifying way to lose a war in galactic history. Trust me, I processed the paperwork.